Good afternoon, students. This is Dr. Anna Neena George, Associate Professor, GVM's Dr. Dada Vaidya College of Education. Today, I will be giving you a brief introduction about the theories of cognitive development and emotional development. One of the theories that we do for cognitive development is multiple intelligence by Howard Gardner. The theory of multiple intelligences proposes the differentiation of human intelligence into specific intelligences rather than defining intelligences as a single general ability. This is something that we all have heard. We always think of intelligence as one thing, somebody is good in maths or English, or they are good in general knowledge, then we consider them as intelligent. That was our measure of intelligence. But with the coming of this theory of multiple intelligence, in which Howard Gardner, in his book In Frames of Mind, The Theory of Multiple Intelligence in 1983, and its sequels, Howard Gardner proposes 8 sets of abilities that manifest multiple intelligences, where he suggests that all people have different kinds of intelligences. This theory suggests that traditional psychometric views of intelligence are too limited. Psychometric means where we measure human intelligence, or where we measure anything of what we think or feel, that's coming as psychometric. Where we measure, metric means measure. So we try to measure intelligence with many intelligence tests. So he was against that view. Within his theory of multiple intelligence, Gardner stated that our educational system is heavily biased towards linguistic modes of intersection and assessment, and to somewhat lesser degree towards logical quantities modes as well. What it means is that when we look at, all of us are aware that when we look at our education system, everywhere we find we are giving more importance to reading, writing, and very less to anything other than reading and writing. Isn't it? Our teaching is also either reading and writing, our assessment is also reading and writing. There is nothing beyond that. But his theory says that our intelligence is more than what we think in reading and writing. His work went on to shape educational pedagogy and influence relevant policy and legislation across the world. So it is not only in the field of education, but the rules and regulations about education, the curriculum about education, what are the new policies that has to be coming into education, everything has been influenced by this particular theory of multiple intelligence by Howard Gardner, with particular reference to how teachers must assess. So it is not only teaching, but it is how we assess, and how students progress, we assess students' progress to establish more effective teaching methods. So what should be more effective teaching methods, and what should be our assessment? So in both these areas, Howard Gardner's theory of multiple intelligence is playing a vital role. Another theory that we will be looking is Jean Piaget's theory of cognitive development. The theory of cognitive development by Jean Piaget, a Swiss psychologist, suggests that children's intelligence undergoes change as they grow. Now, in the previous one, we saw that multiple intelligence, we are talking about different areas of intelligence. Here, Jean Piaget's theory, which is an older theory compared to Howard Gardner, here he says that intelligence is not something that remains fixed, but as the children grow, it develops. He is one of the first people to study children's development, and he developed the theory that children develop through stages. It is not at random, but it is through stages that the children develop. Another theory that we have is emotional intelligence by Daniel Goleman. With regard to emotional intelligence, Daniel Goleman was not the first, but however, because he was a well-known psychologist and journalist, he made the elements of emotional intelligence accessible to broad segments of society. His best-selling book, beginning with emotional intelligence, has already changed how some business interacts with clients and some managers recruit employees. But his impact has been even more profound in the field of education. And for decades, researchers have studied the reasons why a high IQ does not necessarily guarantee success in the classroom or in the boardroom. In his book by Daniel Goleman, he argued that existing definitions of intelligence needed to be reworked, because he thought that it is not only the IQ that we can measure, which is important, but there is something more where we can identify one's own emotions or the emotional expressions with others, and that's what brings success to us. That is what Daniel Goleman says, and it took a special kind of intelligence, according to Goleman, to process emotional information and utilize it effectively, whether to facilitate good personal decisions, to resolve conflicts, or to motivate ourselves and others. So in these three theories, we can see that the three people, that is Howard Gardner, Jean Piaget and Daniel Goleman, are giving us different views about human intelligence and how we can use it in a very, very productive way to make our education system more effective, and how we can teach our students more effectively, and moreover how we can assess. And many of the things are hidden. Many things the students have, the abilities the students have, the intelligence that students have, but we are not tapping on it because we are only interested in what can be written and what can be read. But there is more to it, as these three people, great psychologists and scientists, these three of them, they have given through their hard work, they have shown the world that human intelligence and its parts, the abilities that we have, is much more than what we currently know and what we measure. Thank you.